The news media is one of the least popular institutions in America, and somehow things seem to get even worse this week. 3 CNN journalists resigned Monday over a retracted story about a Trump advisor's ties to Russia. And much of the media went into a collective meltdown over President Trump's tweets yesterday about 2 cable news hosts. Watch as MSNBC guest dramatically change his point of view in just a year's time.
Donald Trump is a feminist. He is an equal opportunity employer and insulter. He will make fun of a man's appearance. He will make fun of... We can't have feminism unless everything is on the table. He's a pig. He's a vulgar pig. He's physically disgusting to look at. I mean, that's what I find ironic about the way he starts to always go after other people's physical attributes. Donald, if you're watching, we're from Queens. I'll meet you in the schoolyard, brother.
Oh, sure you do. And if things couldn't get even worse, listen to MSNBC's Chris Matthews suggest that President Trump should kill senior White House advisor Jared Kushner, who is also his son-in-law.
This is the Romanovs. Just a thought. The Romanovs. Is it?
Well, I mean, that's certainly something.
Is it a royal family instead of a Democratic or Republican form of government, or is it a family running the government? Is it Ivanka and Jared and the president sitting around in the White House upstairs ruling the world? You know, one good thing Mussolini did was execute his son-in-law. I mean, I'm sorry, Cacciano.
Mussolini.
Oh.
President Trump's counselor, KELLYANNE Conway, spoke about the media this morning.
It's incredible to watch people play armchair psychologist, outwardly ridiculing the president's physicalities, his mental state, calling him names that you wouldn't want your children to call people on a playground. You would punish them for doing that. And then all of a sudden feigning shock when he wants to fight back and defend himself and hopefully change the conversation, because the conversation right now is a one-way conversation of toxicity.
Gutfeld, I think the media is used to destroying Republican politicians, and Trump won't play that game, and now they're flailing because they don't have a plan B.
You know, I want to ask a couple of questions here, test your memory. Do you remember when Donald Trump jokingly threatened to hit Mika with a backhand? That was Joe Scarborough, January 30th,
Okay.
2008.
Okay.
Do you remember?
Jesse out.
When Donald Trump asked if Fred Thompson's wife, Jerry, works the pole?
Oh.
No, sorry, that was Joe Scarborough,
okay,
June 4th, 2007.
Okay, good.
Do you remember when Donald Trump asked a group of people if they should vote on whether Miss California, Carrie Breesian, was actually good looking? Oh, no, that was Joe Scarborough, May 13th, 2009. So who is sexist? Who is sexist here? Can we please stop turning this pretentious pair into victims, because they've been trafficking in this stuff forever. The entire staff of Morning Joe, as we saw by those clips, are a bunch of hypocritical drama queens. They cultivated this relationship with Donald Trump. They kissed his butt. They rip him when they felt that it benefits them, so they gain respect at cocktail parties. Then they try to reel him back in and cultivate his friendship so he might do the show. So it went back and forth. Like they are actually a media swamp.
I would agree with you, but I would say
Juan jumping in.
I like what you just did. I would agree with you that they can be pretentious and self-serving, because I think all of us in the media, we're all about the reasons being self-serving. But let me just say, when you
Speak for yourself, Juan.
Oh, yeah, no, we don't care.
Don't throw us in the swamp with you, please.
It's swamp to say we care about success? No, I'm all
a mud bath, but not a swamp.
Okay. But I would say, wait a minute. Even if you were arguing that they might be guilty of some sexism, I don't think you can get away from look at that face on Carly Fiorina, or, oh, there's Hillary Clinton. I was watching from behind.
The party that defended Bill Clinton in the White House with Monica Lewinsky has no standing to talk about dignity in the White House.
Are you kidding?
Kimberly
That's where your argument goes? That's the best you can do?
That's pretty good.
I can do better than that.
Oh, good. I want to hear.
Okay, Megan.
So it's really easy to forget that these same hosts came after my show and came after me and my co-host, not only for the way we look, but what we wear on television, which is the very definition of misogyny and sexism. So just let me finish. Something that I found deeply offensive. All the women that come on Fox News, especially on Outnumbered, are very capable, strong, independent, intelligent women. It's why Fox puts us on television. But Mika Brzezinski said that we were just legs and dresses, short skirts, I believe was the exact quote. That is the definition of misogyny. Did that get any media attention?
Yeah.
No, it did not get the same kind of media
But let me
attention.
ask you something. Are you guys now telling me that Mika and Joe are the president? They're at that level? No.
There's deep hypocrisy going on when you can say these things about conservative women on television. And again, I don't condone what the president tweeted. I think as a general rule, men shouldn't talk about women's cosmetic surgery just as a blanket overall statement. That being said, the idea that they are somehow these martyrs of the media and that somehow they are above all the list that you just said, Greg, is absolute hypocrisy. They're using this and using these tweets to go after President Trump right now and using it to weaponize these things against him. And I think at a certain point, the media needs to stop acting so hysterical over a tweet when we can point to things like I grew up and learned about certain sexual things I can't say on television because President Clinton was president when I was coming up in my formative years. So let's just stop
He really
with the
was
idea
sex ed.
of comparing. But let's not compare a tweet to what happened in the Oval Office.
You know what Tucker Carlson said?
Get to respond.
You know what Tucker Carlson said yesterday? He said, you know, the president's tweet brought joy to his enemies and made his supporters ashamed. Now, you stop and think about that. In other words, it actually not only distracted from his agenda, which is like a serious political argument, but you see Republicans and people who've defended him, Sean Hannity, Jeffrey Lord over at CNN saying, this was not a good thing to do.
I did not defend the tweet, but I'm saying this media reaction that's going on right now is so completely overblown. And the idea that Joe and Mika Brzezinski are somehow these tenants of feminism or ideals in one way or another is absolute absurdity.
Kimberly, let me get you in here for a second because Morning Joe has been a platform for a lot of misogyny when it comes to attacking Sarah Palin's personal appearance, the way she speaks, her family life. They don't really have a solid ground to stand on when it comes to calling Donald Trump sexist, do they?
No, and by the way, this is the best thing to happen to them, okay? They're trying to push Joe's album. They want to be hipster.
Wait, has this all been planned? Is this pre-planned?
No, really.
To sell Joe's album?
This whole thing where before, President Trump used to go on the show when he was, DJT. Now they're like, oh, no, we're so offended by him. I think it's part of their whole desire to be, culturally acceptable and cool. Right. And he released, the video with his hair spiky.
It's
and, Mika swooning over him. And, by the way, they love this. They're, laughing. And because now they feel like, okay, we're, superstars here. Everyone's talking about it. Yep. We're getting, the sympathy. And everybody's bandwagoning on our side. Because before he was supposed to be a conservative, but when Hannity called him liberal.
So Donald Trump, can I just say, Donald Trump is the best thing to happen to Mika since she stole Dana Perino's haircut.
Oh, wow.
Way to stick up
Those are fighting words.
I know. The old haircut.
Right.
I will say you're making the point.
Glad you're keeping track.
But for anyone who lives outside the Beltway, I have good friends that I speak to all the time, grew up in Phoenix, still live in Phoenix. They've never heard of Joe and Mika. I had friends texting me, asking me, who are these people? I don't know who they are. Right. And the fact that we've given them, the president's given them this attention is unfortunate.
Great point. So she makes a point that basically the country has no idea who Mika Brzezinski is. They can't even pronounce her name. So they see Donald Trump hitting back at a weak MSNBC anchor, and they think, you know what? If he fights back that hard over his brand being attacked on cable news, he's going to fight back that much harder when America is attacked by our enemies.
Wow, what a leap, because it looked to me like he's thin-skinned, like he's just jumping at as what you guys described, what Megan described as a little-known cable talk show, not getting great ratings, and yet he is in there with vulgar, arguably misogynistic comments to this woman about blood. And let me just say,
it was about her surgery. He was actually telling her she had. It was a surgery.
Come on, Greg.
No, it was
she was bleeding badly from her facelift.
Listen,
I want to give him every
We're saying get a better doctor.
Okay. Like on the carpet at Mar-a-Lago.
What about Scarborough's comment today that says basically, the president said, oh, you know what, I'll intervene with the National Enquirer to stop an embarrassing story if you guys apologize to me. What is this? That look like extortion?
And then he was asked to reveal his sources on this, and he's saying he won't. So again, if you're going to make an allegation like that against the President of the United States, you should bring up to it.
Fake news.
Speaking of fake news, I want to look at a Gallup poll. Only 27% of Americans this year say they have a great deal or quite a lot of confidence in newspapers.
Yeah.
So, as much as you like to talk
like
about how Donald Trump is this or that, no one is believing you.
What?
I'm talking about the polls right now.
Well, let's talk about polls. Because if you look at it, they don't believe cable
Wasn't that a
news.
real news?
They don't believe newspapers.
It's
and this has been going on for years, not just now with this incident. This is, in fact, trust in American institutions, but the press has gone down. So you're right about that. But remember, Donald Trump's approval ratings are like mid-30s. He's not much higher than the press.
And you know what? The Democrats' approval ratings are lower than Trump.
No,
so don't try to tout that.
What are you talking about?
Kimberly Guilfoyle, I have a question for you.
That's not true.
Donald Trump doesn't pretend he's an aristocrat. He doesn't pretend that he's this blue-blooded Bush dynasty. I owe
Careful
the
what you say
presidency
about dynasty.
to my son. Sorry, no
Jesse.
offense, Meghan McCain.
Keep it.
So
It's a low blow.
the media doesn't understand.
I love the McCain family. Everyone knows.
The media
My
has not
parents get so
accepted
excited
the
every time
fact
you do
that
that.
Donald Trump is a street fighter.
Right.
And they're constantly surprised. When are they going to give the guy the respect he deserves? Because he took down the Bush dynasty, took down the Clinton dynasty, took down about 17 Republican presidential candidates.
Strong candidates.
When are they going to give the guy the respect he deserves?
Well, listen, I don't know. I mean, if they actually pay attention to the series of accomplishments and the agenda that he wants to put forward, perhaps, I mean, if he has a pro-growth economy, I think perhaps no one will be able to deny the accomplishment.
Right.
But the problem is they want him to magically transform out of Aladdin's lamp into somebody that he's not. And the reason he won is because he's not your average politician, and the working class men and women across this country and a lot more people actually related to him, believed him, trusted him to go in there and do something radically different in Washington. And that's why he won. And the poor candidate of Hillary Clinton, which was a rejection of that establishment kind of candidate and Clinton corruption, did not prevail.
But I don't think people bought into this kind of behavior.
Well,
you guys always want to say, oh, Juan, it's the liberals, it's the Democrats, it's the media.
Can I respond to Kimberly?
Hang on, let me just finish this.
I'll
finish this point, Greg. I'll cede the floor to you. But I just want to say, I listened to Republicans. I listened to Charles Krauthammer last night on Special Report say, you know, this guy, it reminds me of a Duarte, however you pronounce the Filipino dictator's name, or a Hugo Chavez, that this is not normal. This is crazy, this behavior by this president.
Okay.
I listened to Republicans in the Senate. I listened to Murkowski, Graham,
It doesn't
Collins.
matter.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. Can I tell you why?
Please.
Because these are words and not deeds. You need to reframe this. You need to look at it the way a lot of people now look at it, include Condoleezza Rice and myself. I will take the little stuff if somebody is right on the big stuff. If you believe that ISIS must be destroyed, and then guess what? You destroy it, which is happening, I can live with a few misguided tweets. I can live with a bit of rudeness. I can live with a bit of obnoxiousness or crassness if I realize that probably the worst group of people that ever existed right now are being incinerated in the desert.